Okay, in the you really can't make this up, this actually happened realm.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. So basically, you have this situation where, so I'm just going to start from the top because it's unclear like how many people on the different platforms were able to hear me. Um, we have ICE yet again engaging in mass murder in the American streets. Period. The latest, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. Hope I'm not disrespecting his name by saying that less than in the correct way, but is the latest who appears to be a victim of this behavior. And we have the same pattern again. The claim that someone who is suspected of only an immigration violation, no criminal record or a nonviolent criminal record. Mr. Rahu had zero criminal record in 3+ decades here. You weaponize their vehicle, which we've seen time and time again, is pretty much always a lie. I can't remember the last time that was actually proven to be true. We have seen multiple videos where it's just an outright lie. And it appears to be, in Mr. Rahu's case, a lie yet again. All right. We'll look at the video in a minute. Someone who had been in this country for 3 decades, as mentioned, no criminal record, put 3 children through college, 2 had graduated, 1 was still in, got up every day, 5 a.m., across that span of time, and worked his ass off, employed several other men and individuals in his own company. So small business owner, homeowner, 3 children in college, taxpayer, causes no trouble. That's the most American shit ever. Okay. Being an American patriot is not determined by me, at least, or according to my value system, based upon where you happen to be born, as much as it is how you participate in society in good faith. And this person right here, what happened to him is a fucking disgrace and an outrage. Everybody deserves human dignity. Everybody deserves to be treated in compliance with the Constitution. And what we have in this situation is someone who was genuinely fearful for his life. I'm going to tell you, there people who have no criminal record for 3 decades are not the kind of people that are just going to randomly weaponize their vehicle to try to run over someone. And it is absolutely, as we saw with the Renee Good shooting, it is absolutely a feature of modern law enforcement and police departments across the country that you do not shoot into moving vehicles. You do not put yourself in front of moving vehicles, and you do not use the weaponized vehicle excuse. And there's a reason for that. The reason is that lots of situations happen where people are either innocent and they get shot, or they shoot into the vehicle and it actually makes the situation more dangerous. It just creates so many problems. And, what we have here as well, I mean, I think I played Mr. Rahu's son's statement. I mean, that is it's difficult to watch. But what we have here as well, and I think this is where some of this blame comes in, at least for me, we have a total lack of deterrence. Okay. So you have a situation where, they've been doing this shit again and again and again, and they're going to keep doing it until they get charged with crimes and held accountable. There is no actual fear by ICE agents that they'll ever be prosecuted, even though there's absolutely probable cause, even though there's absolutely sufficient evidence. And, in my mind, it is a lack of fortitude and spine by And I don't want to blame local law enforcement because they're subject to political control. But the district attorneys, prosecutors, however phrased in the particular jurisdiction, what the hell are you doing? Why are there no charges with respect to Renee Good yet? Why are there no charges with respect to Alex Preddy? Why? Okay. I mean, I just want to show you an example. Okay. Like when I talk about ICE being untrained, let me show you something. Okay. There's a bunch of different ones, but here's a perfect demonstration of this. Okay. And what I want people to understand here is, I mean, it's almost pathetic and comic. It's almost like, I don't want to say funny, but it's like so comically stupid. But I also need to obviously say this is deadly serious. These people have weapons. Okay. So what you're going to see is the inability of 1, 2, 3, and 4 ICE agents to effectuate an arrest on one guy who's like 5'10", it looks like 5'9", maybe. I mean, they're not fucking tackling Brian Urlacher. All right. This isn't fucking Lawrence Taylor. This is one dude. And we'll go through it and I'll kind of explain and narrate what's going on here. All right. So right there, you have one guy and you have the arrestee, if you will, has his hands up in a position of, he's submitting, but the ICE agent behind him has not explained or handled the situation properly up to this point. So everything is escalatory. All right. And then we'll just keep going. It is clear that this person is trying to be arrested. More is it confused than it is resistance. And you have to understand, and I say this as someone with a background in this kind of stuff, like some people might say, well, why doesn't he just put his arms behind his back? First of all, I don't know if they're talking to him in Spanish, what English this guy, or sorry, what language is this person's first language. But a lot of times, I mean, these people are like really, they're confused. And this is what the science shows over many, studies, research. They don't know what's happening. They're not necessarily trying to resist. They think that they're just going to get the shit beat out of them unless they're just trying to protect themselves. You get involuntary reactions. But these are all things that modern law enforcement knows and is designed with its use of force techniques and de-escalation training to handle. Okay. All right. So first thing, immediately, you see what are known as punches and strikes. This is what's known as pain compliance. This is like 1960s and 70s, like fucking Daryl Gates, LAPD policing. Okay. Rodney King shit. This is not how modern law enforcement is supposed to obtain compliance by an individual. You also have this going right to the strikes and the punches means they have not been taught anything else. So they go to the maximum escalation other than using lethal force immediately. And again, when you do that, you're just making this person resist more. And then it's a cycle of escalation. It makes officer injury more likely. It makes the use of deadly force more likely. Injury to the arrestee. This is a Fourth Amendment issue. The use of force has to be reasonable. And immigration offenses are like arguably not even criminal, but if anything, they're like petty nonviolent offenses. The fact that someone might be here illegally. This person has not been given a day in court. It's not any, this is not someone who's like wanted for rape or murder or like, things of that nature. And I say that because this is what they do in every single case. And the majority of people, and this is proven, that are being arrested by ICE do not have any violent criminal record or no criminal record whatsoever. But they go straight to fucking punches and strikes immediately. And you'll see how ineffective this is. The only time you're allowed to use this in modern law enforcement, big city, LA, I said LAPD, Daryl Gates, they've been reformed now. Bill Bratton went there as police chief. NYPD, Atlanta, Denver, whatever you want to say. The capital city, if you did this shit as a police officer in the capital city of any American state, more likely than not, you're getting suspended and fucking terminated. Okay. This is a civil rights lawsuit waiting to happen. Okay. Okay, by the way, that guy fucking punches like look at these fucking sissy punches. You want to see what cowards they are? Look at this. He's almost like you can almost hear the squealing. Like what is this? Punch straight. It just shows these are the kinds of people that they're actually recruiting. Okay. Look at them. Those guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have no clue how to obtain compliance of this subject. You're supposed to use leverage points, jiu-jitsu techniques, things of that nature. And they're not working together as a team. I mean, honestly, this is like, what do they call it? Goat rodeo, but it looks more, it's, there's all kinds of vulgar terms I could say. Like what is this? It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Okay, you're kneeing him in the back. Okay. There's fucking 3 guys. Like, how weak are you? Well, when you're not using the right techniques, this is what happens. They have no idea how to grapple with and use leverage. I mean, they just keep punching him and punching him. And this guy right now, like when you're punching him, this is someone who may not even speak English. These people, the vehicles they use are not well marked. They're actually intended to be deceptive. And that's because they want to be able, ICE agents want to be able to sneak up on people. They don't have, they aren't in a police officer or law enforcement type uniform. Yeah, they have a plate carrier, might say police or whatever, assuming that this guy can even read that. Keep that in mind. All right. What he knows is there's 3 guys with plate carriers and weapons beating the shit out of him. He doesn't understand them. He's scared. And the science shows that when you just start being overly aggressive right from the start, you virtually guarantee escalation and further injury to both the person the officer and the arrestee. And this is a textbook example in every single fucking way how you do not conduct law enforcement operations. Like that. I mean, what I see is someone who's confused and scared more than anything. Here comes the 4th one. I mean, see, okay, like, do you notice? This is like fucking a goat kind of law enforcement. This is the best way I can describe it. There's no teamwork here. One guy's like, oh, I'm going to grab his legs. Like, look at this guy come up. He doesn't even know. He has no idea what to do. Like, what's going through his head? Ooh, I'll grab his foot and then I'll stop. And I don't know, do something else. Okay, let's just keep watching.
Oh my God, why are they hitting him?
Okay, that's just someone who's terrified.
Bro, they taking his pants off.
Utterly ridiculous. Okay, so now you have, what is it? Let me see here. Okay. It took effectively 6 ICE agents to arrest 1 person. Yeah, that's right. Fucking a football. That's right. Somebody said that in the comments. You want to see? Here's another one. We're going to watch a couple of these today. This is allegedly, I mean, the caption says, this account's pretty reliable, honestly. Entering a U.S. citizen's home without a warrant, tackling the father to the ground, pinning down his 15-year-old grandson. Asked to see a warrant, and the agents ignored them. I mean, this is, again, a civil rights lawsuit right here. It's like with ICE, you see video after video after video that would be used as training materials at any American police academy in any big city, any capital city in this country. And we'll just go through this. I mean,
why you guys doing that? Leave it.
go ahead and make this wider. There we go. Oops.
Why you guys doing that? Leave it. No, I'm at my house. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Don't do that, please. My grandfather was a U.S. citizen. Please. Get back! Get back!
I mean, that's like that's a little kid. Look at him using force like a little kid, screaming like that with weapons. Yeah. And by the way, what is he even doing? That kid has his hands together. He's not securing.
Oh, but and he's sick, please. He has diabetes, please. Stand up. Please. Stand up. Please. Edwin, dame tu teléfono, ¿está? ¿Dónde es tu teléfono? Stand up. Stand up. He has.
What is the point of grabbing that kid? They're not securing the scene. They're not keeping that kid from. I'm just saying, like, obviously he's just a kid. He's not up to anything. But hypothetically, if you're not trying to take someone like into custody in a way to at least temporarily secure the scene to effectuate the other arrest, what the fuck are you doing? Then don't even touch the guy. You know, there's like literally no point to what he's doing. And you can just see this constant like putting hands on people. They'd have no purpose in what they're doing.
Diabetes.
Chill. Well, he needs to walk. He's a grown-ass adult.
But what do you guys do to him? You guys don't have to be doing that to people.
Okay. There's another one. This one's fucking crazy. All right. So just wait. I'm just gonna narrate this shit as we go. Okay. Who else did we see just recently wearing masks on their fucking face? Huh? Patriot Front. Oh, look. Look at this tough guy here, huh? What a tough guy, right? You know, you go in, you beat up kids, you assault women and children. That's what you do. And you look at the mask. It's got like a skull on it. That is a fucking, that guy's a criminal way worse than anybody he's arresting. Why would you wear a fucking bandana with like a skull on it trying to be intimidating? Then you got the guy behind him. You can't see it because of the screen. Well, just watch. But I mean, like, just think about how unprofessional and ridiculous that is. The only reason you would have a skull face bandana, first, you're a coward covering your face. But number two, because you are involved in a campaign of terrorism and intimidation against these people. They're trying to get people to self-deport by scaring them. That's what's going on. Make no mistake about it.
I'm not in your way. Walk. Back. Walk.
Okay, and this guy right here. With your mask on, just like Patriot Front, hiding your face like the Ku Klux Klan, pointing a taser like that. Guess what? That, my friends, is a Fourth Amendment use of force. And the cameraman is engaged in First Amendment protected activity in a public place, in a public location. There are few things more American and more protected and more considered a form of political speech and expression than filming the police. Okay? And there is, what you see right there is a use of force against someone engaged in protected constitutional activity as a retaliation because for the express reason that they're engaging in it. How dare you exercise your constitutional rights? I'm going to use force against you. That's what you have right there.
I'm not in your way.
Okay. Again, like, you're pointing that at people for what reason? And I'm going to tell you something too. The thing that I always find kind of amusing is the way these guys set up their plate carriers. What he has on his chest is an Agilite micro medical kit. All right. It's upside down. It's upside down. And on top of that, it's not supposed to go like on the front of your plate carrier. It's supposed to go in your belt. Those red, I'm kind of a dork when it comes to gear. So those red tabs, you're supposed to pull it up. I mean, technically it's better if it's the other way around. But even like that, you pull it up, it breaks the Velcro, then you pull it out. It's not supposed to be here because if you have it on your battle belt, and that's the way other people can use it to work on you. And typically people are going to put that in the small of their back, and that's how you reach around. And it has a tourniquet holder on the top. You're supposed to be an extra. I mean, like, this gear is all fucked up. But you see it all the time. Like I even see them without retention holsters. So there's a retention holster is the kind of holster where you have to press a button to pull the weapon out, and otherwise the suspect can't get to it. Nobody in law enforcement should be using a non-retention holster. You start rolling around on the ground, especially, these guys who don't know what the hell they're doing, and the gun's just going to fall out everywhere. Yeah, somebody's complaining. What are you doing? Somebody just accused me of pandering. All right, okay, whatever. I think you're pandering for Trump. But this is what you have right here. And pointing a taser at someone, that you're supposed to do that when, as a predicate to using lethal force, saying, there's less lethal, there's words, there's physical, using your leverage techniques, jiu-jitsu and all that, less lethal. This guy's already escalated to like 3 out of 4.
I'm not in your way.
Look, he even charges it up. Look at him.
Your car's
What a
there. I'm
punk.
not in your way.
And you can tell this guy the lack of training causes these people to act even more on edge. Okay, like this kid right here. He's not doing anything. He's just on the fucking sidewalk. He's like 20 feet away. Literally charging it up like he's going to do something with it.
Sam, right here. Back up. I'm not in your way. Back up. I'm not in your way. Back up. I'm not going to tell you again. Back You're not in your way. I will arrest you.
That's, I mean,
Not in your way. Your car is there.
bro, I'm telling you. Here's another one.
On his way to work, this happened on Wednesday. He says he told them his name, showed them a valid identification, and repeatedly explained that he was born right here in Texas with
He's a U.S. citizen.
no criminal record. Nonetheless, ICE agents took Mr. Ponce.
I mean, and I can't help but notice the sick irony that you have Donald Trump stealing billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars with his fucking rug pull crypto coin. You have Donald Trump breaking laws left and right, just one after the other, and completely robbing this country blind. And what do you have? It's these people. These are the ones that they're doing nothing. They're the actual patriots, the actual real Americans. Donald Trump's not a patriot. If you were to value people based upon their contributions to society, Donald Trump would have been fucking deported a long time ago.
Into custody and questioned him for more than 2 hours.
I was born in College Station, Texas. Like, there's no way, what's going on? And they said, no, we're going to do our investigation. Pretty much felt kidnapped. They just put me in there, said I have a deportation order, put me in handcuffs, and took me to another location.
Okay, so something very important in what he said. They said the ICE agents told him, we're going to conduct our investigation. You're supposed to conduct your investigation, have probable cause before you arrest someone. It's racial profiling is what they're doing. I mean, the way they said that is an admission of it.
Now, a spokesperson for ICE tells us.
Because what happened is they said, he looks Hispanic, let's pull him over and then conduct an investigation. This is the fucking Kavanaugh stuff.
Agents were looking for a wanted violent criminal in the area, but admit that Mr. Ponce.
Okay. ICE agents are supposed to enforce immigration law. Looking for a wanted criminal in the area who's engaged in violence, that's what the local police are supposed to be doing. If they're trying to detain someone, then there's a specific immigration order they're supposed to have to do that.
Say was, quote, temporarily taken into custody by mistake. The agency adds that they apologized to Mr. Ponce and took him home, but Mr. Ponce says no.
Remember when they took that guy home in Buffalo, New York in the middle of the winter and he was effectively blind? I think he was from Burma and he froze to death. And they dropped him off like miles from his house at a closed coffee shop in Buffalo, New York in January.
None of that
So when ICE says they're taking you home, that's like Augusto Pinochet fucking taking you for a ride.
actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, another one here. This is all the deaths in custody. And again, these are people not suspected of committing, by and large, violent crimes, and they're dying at a rate in custody much higher than people in maximum security prisons across this country.
Family of Geraldo Lunas Campos. He was a 55-year-old Cuban immigrant whose death in ICE custody was ruled a likely homicide. The family is suing 4 guards and the companies that oversaw Camp East Montana, a sprawling immigration detention.
I mean, look at that Guantanamo Bay looking shit. It's a fucking tent city. That's not. I mean, literally, and they got like the way it's all dug out of the ground.
Tent camp
Looks like a POW camp.
at the Fort Bliss military base in
No, well, there you go. It's not a fucking military base.
El Paso, Texas, at the time of Campos's death. The Washington Post reports his family seeking more than $1 million in damages from Acquisition Logistics, the company that oversaw Camp East Montana when Campos was.
There are so many of these companies that are connected to Trump that are engaged in this behavior. So I don't know. This is a really good article. I just kind of want to read a couple things about Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and the kind of person he was. I mean, I think that's important. He came here 35 years ago, a few years too late to benefit from the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, popularly known as the Reagan Amnesty. He worked in construction. Just stop right there. And like, this is how arbitrary our immigration system is. People that want to comply in good faith, they can't. And if they don't get here before some law is passed, then they're screwed. And this is not how. I mean, like, this system of immigration, we blame people who come here illegally without understanding that it's a system that's almost designed for people to fail. On Tuesday morning, Lorenzo was picking up workers as usual shortly after 6 a.m. How many people in fucking ICE and in the Trump administration and in Trump's cabinet work so hard for this country that they're awake doing their work at 6 a.m. in the morning? When he was confronted by ICE and killed, he was 52 years old. He was a hardworking man of routine, one who never cared for his name to be known outside his family. And he wanted his children to be educated and become good people. I loved our dad. I love our dad. He worked hard. He always told us we needed to do well in school so we don't end up like him in the sun. And I mean, there's his family. He's on the left. The last thing that the way that his children were able to identify that it was him that was shot is they heard a video on social media where he said, "Me están matando," which means, I can't breathe. And one witness told the Washington Post he'd heard a man, Lorenzo, gurgling and shouting, "Me están matando. They're killing me," a haunting echo of "I can't breathe." The final words of Eric Garner and George Floyd, 2 others killed by law enforcement. ICE's response after this shooting has been the same as its response to each ICE-related killing during Trump 2.0, to claim personnel acted responsibly and not to wait for an investigation. And again, like, even out in the suburbs, anywhere in America, that's not how fucking use of force death investigations are conducted. For example, in Colorado, they have an incident response team from a different jurisdiction. Okay. They come in, the officers are put on administrative duty who engage in the use of force immediately. And a thorough investigation is conducted by people who are disconnected to the police department and the district attorney's office in the district where the shooting happened. That's how it's supposed to be done. And what they will say, there might be like a preliminary statement. They will never say, "We've cleared the officer, they did everything right," because there's no fucking way to know that. Okay. It's because they are guessing, and they're always going to, toe the line and blame the victim no matter what. I mean, one of these like use of force videos where they said that the woman, had the person who got shot had weaponized the vehicle. It showed later on, the body camera was like, he had his finger on the trigger, which is bad trigger discipline, on an AR-15 as he's getting out, the ICE agent, talking about how they're going to shoot her. Okay. Like it was just fucking murder. Attempted murder. She lived, thank God. I mean, it just so when you see like Kristi Noem got fired and they pulled out of Minneapolis, it doesn't mean anything's really changed. And that's what people need to understand. And you need to think about this force that has a budget larger than the Israeli military or larger than the U.S. Marine Corps. I mean, that's insane. The U.S. Marine Corps and the Israeli military have F-35 stealth fighters. The Israeli military has nuclear weapons. And these guys who have been recruited based upon their political fealty to Donald Trump, who do you think is going to be if it comes to, putting government agents with weapons at polling places in November during the election, when it comes to the use of force on behalf of Donald Trump to try to keep him in power? I mean, these are the kinds of people who are going to do it. And it's a huge force with a lot of money and ideologically controlled by the Trump administration. Okay, so this is one of the things that they said about this guy is that he weaponized his vehicle. He used it against him. All right, so we had this preliminary video. I'll show you that, and then I'll show you the one that proves that they're lying.
Salgado here making a U-turn. There it is right there. The white van makes the U-turn as you're going to see the unmarked car here in black trying to force the car going the opposite direction. Now, this is right before Salgado is ultimately shot. You're going to see.
So he's driving around in his van.
SUV pull over.
He's like driving, he's just like trying to drive to work in his van at like fucking 6:30 in the morning. And all these like random ass unmarked cars that are intended, they make them to not look like law enforcement so they can sneak up on people. Just start boxing them in and like, running into them and shit. I mean, this guy was probably almost certainly scared for his life. Like people with no criminal record for 30 years that are getting up for work at 6:30 in the morning. I'm sorry, but like experience shows those are not the kinds of people who try to kill police officers. Okay. But let's look at this right here. I mean, this right here is like fucking case closed. All right. If ICE agents are lying about him having weaponized his vehicle and rammed the officers' vehicles, and then they're fucking lying about everything. Okay. So again, they said he had rammed an ICE vehicle. That's his vehicle on the left. There's no damage. I'll even scroll. See that? I mean, this is bullshit. We know they're lying.
ICE claims Lorenzo Salgado Araujo rammed a law enforcement vehicle with his van and tried to run over an agent. And ICE says their agent fired in self-defense.
Okay. I don't see any bullet holes in the windshield. Do you? I don't. I don't see any damage to the vehicle. What I see is someone shot through the side window, which means that they weren't actually a threat. What does that remind you of? Renee Good.
ICE claims Lorenzo Salgado Araujo rammed a law enforcement vehicle with his van and tried to run over an agent. And ICE says their agent fired in self-defense. They claim Lorenzo Salgado Araujo wasn't authorized to be in the United States, and he died at the hospital operation.
Okay. I bet what this is going to show is that they shot him through the side window. Okay, so like what needs to be done about this? First and foremost, the Houston police, they're right there. When it was Renee Good, when it was Alex Preddy, when it's any number of people who've been shot and killed or died in custody, there needs to be charges. And we've been let down by state and local prosecutors. I mean, period. And politicians as well. Fucking do something. And like, you cannot keep trying to avoid a confrontation with the Trump administration by just saying that you're not going to arrest these people or do anything about it, because it is going to continue. And at some point, the failure of those in power at the state and local level to do something about this puts the blood of future victims on their fucking hands. There is no deterrence. If you're an ICE agent and if you're like, a racist, white nationalist hired by the Trump administration, given no training, but then a weapon, Are any of those people, do they fear prosecution? Do they fear accountability? Absolutely fucking not. They see Donald Trump. He knows that he will lie for him. It's politically expedient to do so. So these people need to actually, at some point, I mean, like this is where we're at. Somebody's got to do something. There's going to be a confrontation one way or another. Now, one of the things I'd actually written a Substack article about what happens, because I think there's like 20,000 of these ICE agents. It was like 10,000, then 14, 16, and then 20. But I'm pretty sure those numbers are right. Well, what happens if they start flooding these cities? Simple. There's actually a mechanism in place. So like when there's a Super Bowl or when there's a natural disaster, you have police officers that get borrowed by one state for another. There's a whole interstate compact for doing that. There are far more local law enforcement officers, even in just blue states, than there are any federal agents, ICE, FBI, all combined. So there's a way to actually make sure you do not get outnumbered in your own city like we saw in Minnesota. That shit needs to happen. And like people need to step up. And we need courage from our leaders. I mean, the number one job of leadership at the state and local level is they need to protect us. And sometimes these fucking criminals claim to be working for the federal government, to be enforcing the law, but they're still criminals and they're still a threat to public safety. It's just ridiculous. Okay, now here's another thing. There was three fucking people in that van. 3 witnesses. And ICE is like not even accounting for them. Nobody has any idea where they are. I just heard back from ICE on this. Here's their statement. No comment at all on the claim that the 3 witnesses in the van with the deceased man are being pressured to self-deport. In short, they're not denying it. And ICE refers all further questions to the FBI. Okay. Why is the mayor of Houston just allowing someone to be shot and apparently fucking murdered in cold blood in broad daylight in his city and just doing nothing to investigate it? This is their statement. The driver was struck and emergency services were immediately contacted. The driver was transported to the hospital where he passed away to his injuries. DHS OIG, which is DHS Office of Inspector General, is leading an investigation to the agent-involved shooting. FBI Houston is leading an investigation to the potential assault on a federal law enforcement officer. So they're doing, the FBI's there not to like make sure this person's civil rights weren't violated, which is a federal statute. But they're fucking trying to see if there's some way that a dead man can be charged with a crime. Like, what's the point? What the fuck is the point of that? He's dead. It's because they want to smear him. They want to lie. They're trying to develop facts or made up facts that will support their narrative. The driver of the vehicle, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, an illegal alien from Mexico, attempted to evade arrest. He didn't even know, probably didn't know he was being arrested. From information we're receiving, he rammed an ICE law enforcement vehicle, refused to follow multiple verbal commands, does he even speak English, and weaponized his vehicle, where have we heard this before 100 times, an attempt to run over ICE law enforcement officer, resulting in our officer firing his weapon in self-defense. Hence the absence of gunshots in the front of the van. Where? There might be one in the... So, I mean...
His van and...
The whole thing is just fucking bullshit. This is not a new tactic. DHS has repeatedly arrested and detained witnesses at other of its crime scenes. So it's just something ridiculous. All right. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, this is like pretty clearly, there should be local law enforcement. I mean, the Houston police should be investigating this. This is not something that's really in the jurisdiction of the FBI. I mean, when you look at that statement that the use of force is being investigated by the Office of Inspector. Let's go back to that. This is actually critically important. So super, super important. Okay, so here, when they're saying that it is the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, Office of Inspector General leading an investigation to the agent-involved shooting, they do not have prosecutorial authority for murder or violations of the civil rights by a federal agent. That's something the FBI is supposed to be doing, but the FBI is not investigating that. Who's investigating? The FBI is investigating whether they can come up with concoct some kind of fucking lie to try to justify the shooting itself. So at this point, based upon their own statement, there is a framework in place whereby the potential murder, the crime against Mr. Arahu, is not being investigated by anybody. Nobody's looking into that. Okay. That's not normal. That's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, to me, that jumps off the page. Okay. This is another story about like the conditions at this federal detention facility in downtown Miami. After they closed Alligator Alcatraz and they put him in a facility that has cockroaches and no air conditioning. Okay. I mean, it's just, ICE is fucking out of control again. One thing after another. It's horrible. Let me see here real quick. There's a lot going on today. I mean, we have, so let's just kind of switch to Iran real quick. This MOU is dead. And the only good thing about it is that JD Vance is the one that told us JD Vance's political future is fucking crumbling before our eyes. So there's one positive there. But you have about 178 strikes already by the actually, this is something we should look at. Okay, this is key. But there's about 170 strikes by the U.S. against Iran over the past 24 hours. 170 targets or so. And what does it come down to? Why is this fucking major war happening again that puts us at huge extreme risk of, economic disaster in the world itself, the world as well? It's pretty simple. We put stupid, unqualified people in place, and the MOU has a key provision that was drafted very poorly. And the Trump administration did not want to honor its obligations under the contract, the MOU that it signed. This is how dumb it is, okay? Our strategic petroleum reserve is down to basically, it's almost nothing. We don't have the cushion. So the economic impact is going to be worse this time than it was before. President Trump's memorandum of understanding with Iran was supposed to open the Strait of Hormuz and relieve pressure on the global economy. Instead, it set off a test of wills that has exploded into violence twice in the past 2 weeks. The root of the dispute here is paragraph 5, which says Iran will make arrangements to restore shipping through the strategic waterway and then work with Oman to determine how to administer it in the future. But it also includes an Iranian pledge to ensure safe passage and remove military obstacles such as mines. Trump administration officials saw that clause as unlocking the strait, the main accomplishment of the president's deal. Iran, on the other hand, have used it to push a maximalist interpretation that gives them exclusive control over the waterway as a key source of leverage. Well, I mean, they're going to enforce, like, they have the advantage. They know that there's been a ceasefire for so long that attacking them now, restarting the hostilities, if we did that on a broad scale, would be just like restarting the war. So that would mean that all the munitions that we pissed away that take 3 to 5 years to replace, and all the interceptor missiles, the Patriots, that also take 3 to 5 years to replace, effectively, we gain nothing with that because they have rebuilt, rearmed, and they're effectively the same level of a hard target as they were before the war even started. So, and remember, the math didn't work. Like, we spent a higher percentage of our weapons to destroy a much lower percentage of their weapons, ballistic missiles and things like that. And now they can rebuild faster than us. You see, they understood this conflict. They understood the geography. They understood the terrain, both physical, legal, and economic. They understood the psychology of the Trump administration. All of these things that we, and I mean our government, did not understand or act upon. So, and all these different levels, they've outplayed us. And this continues over into the MOU and into the peace process. I mean, what you're able to negotiate is a reflection of the military strategic realities on the ground at the time you try to resolve things. The gap in interpretation is wide, baked into the deal, and not exactly surprising. Washington has tried to convince Tehran that compliance would be more profitable, but this framing misses the point. Iran's behavior isn't driven by financial motives. Again, this is Donald Trump yet again. He thinks everybody is like him. And because he's a fucking sociopath and he does not understand human behavior and motivations, and he can't put himself in other people's shoes, that he is unable to understand what is going to actually motivate the Iranian regime to do what he wants. He thinks everybody is just like a real estate developer and corrupt and has the same ego. And I mean, like he's utterly incapable of understanding other people. It isn't driven by financial motives, but by security concerns and bargaining leverage. It's a power dynamic. 3 weeks after Trump signed the preliminary deal to wind down the war at the Palace of Versailles, which is where the Treaty of Versailles, which is this really awful agreement signed by the Germans after World War I that made them pay for the war and did all this other stuff. It was one of the things that led to Hitler coming to power. So like the analogs, the parallels there were, and again, Trump doesn't get this because he doesn't understand history. I mean, I'm not even sure the guys can even fucking read, to be clear. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is still stunted. Crossings fell from 25 on Wednesday amid the U.S. and Iranian exchanges of fire from 49 the day before, according to a ship tracking company. More than 100 ships crossed each day before the war. I mean, paragraph 5 has been problematic, and the U.S. and Iran are on different planets when it comes to interpreting the deal. I've interpreted hundreds of contracts, and it's just crazy to me. I mean, to think that the way that this was drafted, and they don't have any national security process, remember that picture with like JD Vance, and I believe it was from one of the Gulf states, it's one of their security officials. And then you had another person. I mean, they're sitting there typing it up on a fucking laptop. And remember, JD Vance wasn't actually, and it was Kushner looking over his shoulder. Remember when, and he had the card, like an access card, and wasn't even JD Vance's. So it was like security violation. The president of the the vice president of the United States, drafting out something on a fucking laptop. I mean, that's the kind of shit that like you see. I've been in court. You bring your paralegal, and it's like, you're trying to hammer out a settlement agreement or hammer out some kind of dismissal or some kind of discovery dispute resolution. Like that's what you do in like civil litigation in America in the hallway or something. Not ideal, but this, like, it happens. Resolving a major fucking war? Are you kidding me? That's how you're doing it? Then there you go. Notably, the paragraph says nothing about the U.S. making arrangements for the safe passage of vessels, which Iran has seized on to attack ships that use a U.S. coordinated route. This is so dumb. Iran's lead negotiator in the talks with the U.S., Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, quoted the clause in arguing on social media that Iran controls the strait. The Strait of Hormuz will only open with Iranian arrangements, not American threats. So we went to war because Netanyahu sold it to Trump in the first instance, and he thought it would be another Venezuela, which was unbelievably stupid. And to think that the Iranian regime that survived the Iran-Iraq War would somehow be motivated by the same political dynamics as Delcy Rodriguez. That's why we started this dumbass war. And this dumbass war is going to continue because we have illiterate morons drafting a memorandum of understanding. That's how dumb this is. Okay. Anyways, I mean, that's why we're in this situation. It's almost unbelievable, but it's not. Okay. So what's going to happen? Who knows? This is going to continue. It's going to escalate further. There's literally no idea whatsoever how we're going to get through this. God. All right. With respect to Ukraine, I mean, there's just one of the few pieces of good news today. They hit another fucking 35 tankers today. Another 35 ships. Okay. I'm sorry, it's 35. They hit another 14 vessels overnight in the Sea of Azov. So that's 35 in the past 96 hours. This is the most number of ships that have been taken out of service. And this is above like World War II, Battle of the Atlantic levels. You'd have to go back, I don't know, a long time. Hundreds of years, back when the ships were made out of wood, to find something similar. And all this is backed up by, and these are Russian Shadow Fleet tankers. It's amazing to me that the Russians were dumb enough to put this in the sea, because the Sea of Azov is not even that far. I mean, it's off the coast of Ukraine. These are big ass ships too. I mean, look at them. They're just fucking sitting there. There's so many of them. And all you have to do is hit the bridge and they're taken out of service. These aren't warships, okay? These are civilian vessels that are violating sanctions. Just one after the other. It's fucking fish in a barrel. It's crazy. I mean, I'll take it. It's just amazing. It's amazing how dumb they are. Look how many ships there are there. Incredible. So there's that, and then I did just want to run something by. There's a good article in the Atlantic today about how illiterate Americans have become, especially younger ones. But okay, this thing here, it really bothers me. This is the last thing I'll try to leave you with this. A Brown University professor gave his students, this is about the extent of cheating using AI in college. A Brown University professor gave his students a take-home midterm exam. After suspecting many cheated using AI, he made the final in person. The orange dots are the midterm scores and the gray dots are the final scores. Looks like all but 3 cheated. Okay. And then what is the response? Okay. My first response to this is, what the fuck? Why are so many people cheating? Like, we have a character problem. I never cheated once. Like, I have severe ADHD and had all kinds of problems in school, and I never fucking cheated. Yeah, 20 Days of Mariupol, somebody in the comments, I haven't watched it yet. I can't, because like I'll end up going back and fighting again. There's just certain things like I just have to put off till later emotionally because of my experience over there in Ukraine. But it's a lot of people. It's an excellent documentary from what I hear and what people have told me. You have this many people cheating. And to me, that's like one of the things they should be teaching people who go to college. And they should know this before they go to college. It's something their parents should teach them as they're growing up. You have this many people who clearly, I never came close to cheating. And they lack the character and the hard work. But what I see people saying, like almost nobody is focusing on that. Almost nobody on social media. I've seen fucking people try to blame the university for not preparing them how to use AI properly. It's ridiculous. Like, I think we have a character and moral values crisis in this country. We saw it with the World Cup intervention. a couple days ago, where it was clear Donald Trump violated the rules and got them to reverse the red card suspension, which they're not allowed to do under the the regulations that govern FIFA and this 2026 World Cup. And literally, you had people bending themselves into a fucking pretzel to try to justify what was happening. And everybody was like, I mean, there was even one guy who was like saying, well, I'm against Trump and this is bad, but FIFA's also corrupt, so they should do it. It was clear. And what it showed to me is like how many people, how their values are so superficial, including a lot of people in public life. So I have a new article up on my Substack about that entire process, showing how what Trump did was illegal, and how it is a metaphor and a reflection in just kind of a microcosm sense of what Trump does. Is two things. He reveals people for who they are, okay, because he's a bad person. And then secondly, he creates a mess that other people have to clean up. And that's exactly what's happened with soccer in the World Cup. Now there's all kinds of people who've gotten red cards. They're like, well, how come I can't get a special favor? How come I can't get this reversed? You're not supposed to have an appeal, but now people are appealing effectively across it. So anyways, okay. So, okay, I'm a little bit over, so I'll let you guys go. I will be back on tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Mountain Time. Thanks for joining.